Good afternoon, citizens of the Republic of Korea and all over the world. I stand here today to protect the human rights and free will of our people. Are you familiar with the MK Ultra project? This was a secret mind control experiment program conducted by the CIA during the early Cold War period. It began in 1953 and was halted after 1973. But it has since sparked controversies over human rights violations and ethical breaches both within the United States and internationally. The project was initiated as a response to concern of brainwashing techniques allegedly possessed by the Soviet Union, China, and North Korea at the time. Its purpose was to develop methods for controlling or manipulating human behavior or thought to enhance psychological warfare and intelligence gathering capabilities. This involved research into mind control, torture, brainwashing, and interrogation techniques. The experiment involves the use of powerful hallucinogens such as LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, sleep deprivation, drug administration, and electric shocks. As a result, numerous secret experiments were conducted without the consent of the subject, causing irreversible physical and mental harm to some. In 1975, during Ford administration, the Church Committee formed by the U.S. Congress officially exposed the existence of MK Ultra for the first time. Later, on October 3, 1995, then President Bill Clinton issued an apology regarding past human rights violations related to MK Ultra, stating, "When the government does something that is wrong, we have to admit it. That is the only way to build trust for the future. What was done should never happen again." This technology has since been passed down and continuously developed as a core technology related to mind manipulation and cognitive and behavior control. Now, I will talk about some of the current neuroscience technology being developed. First, there is non-invasive brain stimulation method such as non-invasive brain stimulation, transcranial direct current stimulation, and transcranial magnetic stimulation. These use electromagnetic waves to regulate excitability in a specific brain area, which can induce effects such as alleviating depression, improving memory, and enhancing attention. However, regular use can influence behavior patterns and decision making. Second is brain-computer interface, BCI, which reads brain waves and connects to external devices to enable communication and command execution. Currently, this is actively researched by Elon Musk Neuralink, as well as in China, Russia, and the European Union. Third is neurofeedback, where users monitor their brainwave status in real time and train themselves voluntarily to induce specific emotion states. Since the 2020s, many countries have actively discussed neural rights, which are privacy rights protecting brain information. Pulse are drug and biochemical technologies. Through the refinement of psychoactive drugs, it is possible to selectively stimulate or inhibit only the necessary part of the brain by targeting specific neurotransmitters. Relatedly, truth-inducing drugs have been developed and are undergoing use and experimentation. What I've just mentioned may sound like conspiracy theories, but in fact, due to advances in neuroscience, AI, electronics engineering, and military technology, these are actively researched or partially implemented in real cases. Based on this, I will explain the current status of research and development in 4 key areas. The first is brain memory hacking. This technology reads, deletes, modifies, or insert memories stored in the brain, primarily related to hippocampal activity. Since 2014, a research team at MIT has successfully manipulated the memories of mice by electronical stimulation. They implanted pulse memories to induce fear responses in specific environment. The US DARPA developed an implant device aiming to restore damaged memories of soldiers through the Restoring Active Memory program. This is currently in use and under research. Second, mind reading. By analyzing the brain's electronical activity in real time, it is possible to interpret unspoken thoughts, images, intention, and more. In 2023, a research team at the University of Texas reconstructed imaging sentences into text by analyzing fMRI data with AI. It is also possible to detect a person's intention, emotional state, and focus level in real time through brain waves, and research and development on this continue actively. Third, mind control, controlling thought and behavior. This refers to technically inducing or manipulating human emotion, judgment, decision, and action. It is one of the most ethically and politically sensitive fields. Using techniques like TDCS or TMS, weak electronical current can be applied to specific brain regions such as the prefrontal cortex and amygdala to regulate impulse control, reduce anxiety, and alter decision. This allows modulation of moral judgment or aggression control. Fourth, delivering images and sound to the brain. It is possible to directly stimulate the brain from external devices to induce perception similar to video or audio. Initially, microwave auditory effect, also known as the fairy effect, involves irradiating high-power microwaves onto a person's head, enabling them to perceive sound like inside the ear without speakers. And there is cortical vision processes, a device that stimulates the visual cortex electronically. Using an artificial vision device, electronical signals are sent to the brain to allow image recognition. Additionally, with VR and neurofeedback, sensory feedback combined with brain wave analysis in real environment enable the injection of intended image or emotion. Now, I will explain the current reality of these technologies and their future development direction. The truly frightening combination is AI, neuroscience, and wireless communication. AI has advanced to the level of interpreting or predicting what a person thinks by learning brainwave patterns, visualize fMRI data, and language signals. It has reached the stage where it can predict behavior based on a person's implanted thought pattern. Recent research has announced technologies that detect a person's heart rate, breathing location and behavioral changes using Wi-Fi and MIT's YVI technology has succeeded in sensing human movement through words. This raises the question, can the brain be hacked via Wi-Fi? Currently, officially, customized simulation through Wi-Fi and smart device network hacking for psychological manipulation is already partially realized, and full utilization is technologically quite feasible in the near future. Next is the neuromind. Magnetogenetics interface for neurodynamics developed by Korean researchers from IBS and Yonsei University. This technology, which is non-invasive and wireless, is the world's first successful example of mind control, attracting global attention. To summarize the core technology, magnetic particles with nanoscale magnetism are genetically inserted into specific neurons, and when a rotating magnetic field is applied externally, the nanoparticles rotate and selectively stimulate the targeted neurons. Experimental results include inducing maternal instinct behavior in mother-deficient female mice to care for pups, enabling 100% increase or 50% decrease in appetite, and successfully increasing social appellative behavior. This is supported by Professor Choi Sung-hyun's 2024 paper in Nature Nanotechnology titled Magnetogenetics for Cell Type Specific Targeting and Modulation of Brain Circuits. By combining these technologies, the process would involve injecting or administering nanoparticles to people using nanomind technology, hacking brain via Wi-Fi, that is, using AI and neuroscience and wireless communication technology, reading thoughts, implanting thoughts, controlling behavior via brain-computer interfaces, inputting and outputting voice and visual information, monitoring past memories, inducing physical pain and illness, and controlling all 5 senses. In the near future, all company workers, all citizens, all borders, and indeed all people worldwide could be subjected to such a control via Wi-Fi. If dictators, authoritarian groups, or exploitative corporations acquire these technologies and have the financial resources and organization, it became possible. Evidence is in myself and many others who have become illegal test subjects, so-called Maruta, suffering brain hacking, mind control, electromagnetic torture, stalking, and other abuses. Victim groups and online community exist, but they are often infiltrated by perpetrators aiming to disrupt this group. Perpetrators can be found everywhere. I myself am enduring brain hacking, mind control, and electromagnetic torture experiments at work, at home, and even from apartment neighbors living above and below mine. Soon, you too could become victims, and perpetrators will soon also become victims. Now, everyone must realize this. While visible election fraud is pushed through legitimately, invisible enslavement of all workers and citizens is a piece of cake. In communist countries, once this technology is advanced, enslaving the entire population will be very easy. If someone like Hitler emerges anywhere in the world, acquiring this technology along with AI, Wi-Fi, and supercomputers, it will be impossible to enslave not only their own citizens, but people worldwide. Let me imagine from the perspective of a malicious corporation or authoritarian ruler, how they would virtually plan the enslavement of workers and citizens. This way, we can be prepared. First, for exploitative large corporations, they would contact intelligence agency and collaborate to obtain this technology, or they may acquire the technology through separate channels. Next, they would secretly mix nanoparticle or nanorobot into food served at the company cafeteria and have workers regularly consume them without their knowledge. Then the company install dedicated Wi-Fi throughout the workplace to synchronize individual via Wi-Fi and nanorobot through brain-computer interface on computer. They would monitor thoughts, hack memories, control thoughts and behaviors, and in worst cases, induce diseases. Initially, they enslave executives and those in key positions, then target militant labor unions, followed by problematic employees, and finally, the entire workforce. With just a snap of finger, the malicious employer can enslave and control all workers. That would eliminate all labor management conflict permanently. Anyone who speaks out or resists would be isolated and subject to electromagnetic torture, disease induction, or mind control to prevent rebellion. In the case of a nation dictator or authoritarian political party, they could apply this to the entire population. They would collude with food companies to insert nanorobots into processed food or cooperate with vaccine companies to include nanorobots in vaccines. These substances wouldn't be detectable in standard blood tests. They would then partner with telecommunication companies to synchronize the entire population via Wi-Fi and later through a smartphone as well. By connecting all of these to a supercomputer and BCI, they could control the entire nation. During the election, they could force people to vote for a particular individual or party, securing permanent rule. This would effectively eliminate the possibility of mass public protest. If they already conduct president election and manipulate key position in government using all sort of methods using this technology, which is invisible, undetectable, and difficult to understand, would be even easier. Think carefully. Why do you think this technology is being developed and tested on so many illegal human guinea pigs? Before it's too late, we must expose everything and enact laws to regulate and control this entire field of technology. If we hesitate, even for a moment, everyone will become slaves to those inflicting this suffering. Your children will also be subjected to the same fate. If you are laughing now, finding this entertaining, know that this is no time to be amused. There is not much time left. As AI technology advances, the time we have left decreases proportionally. Most of the remaining technology are already complete. The proof is people like me, illegal test subject. I currently work at HD Hyundai Heavy Industries in Ulsan. In 2018, the company ordered me to be dispatched to Shanghai, China for 6 months. However, I had to return after just 3.5 months due to being subjected to electromagnetic torture. About 2 months into my stay in Shanghai, I began to experience electromagnetic torture from someone living in the hotel room above mine. I endured the pain as long as I could and returned after 3.5 months. The company spread the humor that I had returned due to homesickness. Even now, after returning from Shanghai, I'm still being subjected to electromagnetic torture by a man named Seo Hyun-sop who lives in an apartment above mine. He was from our company. The same kind of attack I suffered in Shanghai in 2018. Now, let me talk about the main type of the harm that many victims, not just myself, are experiencing. The first is by surveillance. Since I returning from Shanghai in 2018 until now, at work, teams have been monitoring me. For example, if I'm thinking, should I take the train or drive to Seoul tomorrow, someone nearby will say out loud, traffic will be bad to Seoul tomorrow, either while talking to themselves or on a phone call. When I get up to go to the restroom, people stationed along the hallway as if they knew in advance, rotate in and confront me with specific behavior or words. And recently, they have been indirectly talking to each other as if they wanted me to hear, taking turns all day long, making all kinds of threats. They say things so unspeakable that only heinous criminal could utter them. I feel like I am under total siege. They try to interfere with and control everything I do. The second is visual surveillance. Even when I'm at work, at home, or outside in area, with no one around, someone know what I saw. They even mention it the next day or call me in real time and speak as if they are watching my surroundings. This is visual data hacking. The third is soft manipulation. This includes psychological manipulation, subconscious manipulation, and emotional feeling manipulation. When thought manipulation occurs, it resonates and synchronizes with the brain, often causing headaches. When brain memory is hacked, I feel lethargic and sleepy. Most mornings when I arrive at the office and I sit at my desk, I feel foggy-headed for around 30 minutes. Sometimes when I turn around unconsciously like this, I see signs or posters with words related to my thought or concern. At work, it often happens that I suddenly and unconsciously starting saying things in my mind about topics or interest to others, just like a left right, I feel. The first is behavioral control. While traveling from Ulsan to Changwon on a business trip, I was manipulated to turn the steering wheel like this, which causes a tire to blow on a highway divider. I have been controlled while sleeping when I cursed a perpetrator silently I was made to slam myself in my head with my stretched hand like this. The fifth is hallucination, visual, auditory, olfactory. One night, I saw a geometric hallucination, a square white shape. I have also heard voices as if someone had a specific purpose, criticizing or limiting me. These voices were directly related to my real-life circumstances at the time. Physical torture has continued since 2018, both from Seok, who lives upstairs, and others around the apartment and at my workplace. I have suffered persistent headaches and chest pain. As time, Seok has shot high energy waves at my skin, causing frequent damages. I even been hit in my eye while sleeping, awakening in severe pain. Men are also tortured through prolonged forced erections. I have also heard that female victims suffer sexual electromagnetic torture. People like me are called TIs, targeted individuals. There is a Naver Cafe online community for victims like me that has 4,597 members. It's a tremendous number. And there are several other similar communities. Since 2018, I have submitted dozens of complaints and reports to every relevant institution in South Korea about these crimes. However, not a single investigation or face-to-face inquiry has been conducted. Why? Because there are no relevant laws in this country, in the US. Congressman Dennis Kucinich from Richmond proposed the Space Preservation Act in 2001, which prohibits this type of technology. In Russia, on July 26, 2001, Federal Law number 103 was enacted, banning the use of non-lethal weapons that cause psychological, physical harm, including electromagnetic waves and infrared, ultrasound, and infrasound. I will now show you photos and other material related to the matters I mentioned earlier. This photo shows infant and younger subjects of the MK Ultra project. Below this is a newspaper article about the MK Ultra project that was carried out by the CIA. And this photo is of female victims whose face and entire body suffered skin burn caused by electromagnetic weapon. In addition, this illustration is an example diagram of an electromagnetic weapon. And these photos are of protests around the world in both Western and Eastern countries against the use of electromagnetic weapon. Here is in Japan and all over the world. Here is even a protest taking place in front of UN building. Furthermore, this is the text of the U.S. Space Preservation Act of 2001, which proposed a ban of use of electromagnetic weapons and mind control weapons and weather modification weapons. This is also Russian law enacted in 2001, which prohibits the use of non-lethal weapons that mind and body, including electromagnetic, ultrasonic, and infrasound weapons, as well as devices and means that influence the human nervous system and psychological state. They are subjected to criminal and administrative penalties if used illegally. And this is a record of tens of complaints and petitions I have filed with the National Human Rights Commission and Prosecutor's Office and the Minister of Justice and the police and National Grievance Center and other authorities. So now you should be able to see clearly that the existence of brain hacking and mind control and electromagnetic torture technology is undeniable. Now it should be clear to you that technology like that do exist. I don't know exactly how many people or what percentage of the population nationwide or even within my company are being subjected to the brain hacking, mind control, electromagnetic torture, and stalking. However, I believe that a tremendous numbers of people are suffering from these kinds of harm. Do you know why God allowed both good and evil to coexist in this world? Because He granted us the greatest gift, free will. So we could choose between the two. But these forces of evil are trying to steal our free will. So we could and place it under their feet. Will you just sit back and watch until you too become a slave? Let me join hands and rise together. We must raise up a world that is falling into ruin. Recognizing the problem is the first step to solve this critical crisis. Together, we can stop this. Let's hold hands. Let's hold hands and go forward. Move forward. Thank you for your attention.